So Nazanin, the summit kicked off with some harsh words. The UN High Commissioner on Human Rights saying that, basically slamming the UN, saying that they failed the long-suffering people of Syria, and went on with a number of criticisms. Give me your sense. I mean, there has to be anger and outrage. Is it one of these feelings where you just want to do this to the world body and say, get moving?
I do think that the Syria conflict has revealed tremendous fissures in the international community and has really weakened longstanding international law and the humanitarian protection regime. I think the Syria conflict is characterized by the fact that it targets civilians, that that 19 towns are besieged, that food and medicine have been used as weapons of war, that children are starving, that hospitals and schools and markets and other civilian infrastructure have been targeted. That is, it's just rendered international humanitarian law meaningless. And the other piece of that has been the challenge of the international community, in being able to respond and bring an end to that. This is a conflict where we've seen several Security Council resolutions intended to strengthen and uphold international humanitarian law and obligations under it, but there's been a real challenge and difficulty in implementing and enforcing those resolutions.
I read today someone, I think rather close to you, saying the upcoming refugee summit will be a failure unless world leaders commit to concrete action. What type of concrete action would you like to see?
So you're seeing a situation where a humanitarian system that was built for short-term responses, life-saving interventions for people to return to their communities is not relevant to the kinds of challenges that we face today. And I'd like to see, and I think, and my hope is that these summits will bring that recognition. On the heels of the World Humanitarian Summit today, President Obama's summit tomorrow, we need to do things really differently. Wealthy nations need to do much more to resettle refugees permanently. They resettle far less than 1% of the global population of refugees today. They need to share more responsibility with host communities. We need to do much more in the way of financing and support to those host communities. You've got some of the poorest countries in the world hosting the vast majority of refugees. 86% of the displaced are in low-income countries. So the international community needs to do much more to shore up what those countries are doing for the refugees that they're hosting. But in turn, those countries need to provide much greater opportunity for refugees. Because again, we're no longer in a scenario where they're there on a temporary basis, or they're in camps and they'll return. Less than 1% of refugees returned home last year.